Okay, let's start the chapter. Okay, so in the last few chapters, what we have done, we've done some kind of purchase, sales, integrated that together, and now we need to look at whole integrated project. We did another event away from sales and purchase, which is raw materials, issuing raw materials and warehousing and when materials goes down. And here in chapter 8, we want to integrate all the project. We're not going to go on the details, but we're going to have an understanding how you integrate the whole event together from accounting uh, software application point of view. So in this chapter, we, in Accounting Information System, chapter 8 is an integrated project. Now, what are we going to learn? We're going to plan and manage a business analysis or a BA project. We're going to develop and integrate UML class diagram for a business, develop activity models of multiple business process, and use those models to assess potential risk and opportunity for process improvement. We said when there is a process, we look at the risk, we try to mitigate the risk and improve the process effective and efficient levels of it. Using the UML class diagram is to design and implement RDB or relation database. We're not going to emphasize a lot on this and employ the relational database to answer a variety of business performance of questions. Now, we know already the operation and the suggested project steps. So there is prepare a project plan, determine the requirements. So there's a project plan. What's the requirement there? This is a part of project management. And prepare activity diagrams as we saw, and prepare a structure diagram, how these things is flowing. Then import data to into Access or any application, create a table if you want, and prepare a query test if it's working, and prepare a report. This is the whole suggested project steps to do it, integrated. Now, as a first stage, we need to define the business requirement. So there is two parts of it. There's the payroll services and the suppliers. Let's take a look at this, how it works. Overall, the requirement, discover, reprocess, involve fact finding to determine who, what, when, where, why, and how the business activities are performing. As the project team gathers these requirements, they set a context of the project as shown, as you see here. So the focal organization is placed at the center of the diagram as OPQ. You notice is there is a 3 pools. The external organization with the interact, so that you have your company and you might have the suppliers, the payroll services, the customers, and the bank. These are external. Your company is in the middle, and how these activities are. The process and the system within the focus organization must be able to respond to incoming messages, flow, and efficiently deliver controlled outgoing messages flow. So we must look at what's coming from a third party, control it, and efficiently respond to it. So we have our company, and who we are dealing with is the payroll service part when we're paying, the suppliers we're paying, the customer we're receiving, for example, and the bank is the deal is happening. We look at these messages, each one of them. What's the possibility of message? What things we can control? What things might go wrong? What things is going to be affected? But what are we going to do? We have to do focus at each process at the time. So we need to focus the details of the bank, the details of the customer, the details as we looked at the sales, we looked at the purchase. So your company, you receive an order, you deliver an order, and you deliver an invoice and hoping you get a payment. So the next select one process is to focus on, in this example, for example, we're focusing on the sales process. The important message flow that included the order, delivery, invoice, payment, as you see. You might identify additional message flows as the examine. You examine it, what else you can see in this case. So you have a customer and the customer send you an order. So what the next thing's happening? You are recording the order, you prepare the delivery, you deliver the products to the customer, if it's a, and you invoice it, but at the same time you do a credit on it, payment received, you credit your payment received. So basically on the step one, you investigate to determine how the company conduct that process. Establish the basic activities necessary for the process to respond to and generate the important message flows. Now, the other thing that you want to see is to continue your investigation. Establish who is responsible within the organization for each activities. Answer the question about how the accounting is recorded during that. Who's responsible and how its accounting is recording that. So the customer sent the order. Who's responsible for receiving the order? Ship and receive probably. And order record in your company, order processed, order delivered, invoice issued by the ship and receive. The product is being delivered and the payment is happening and the payment received and deposited into the bank. Then you need to identify possible exception within this flow. You might be saying, well, order delivered, but there were some damages in return. You need to look at these exceptions. What's the process of these exceptions happening? So let's assume the customer sent as all flow allow for expected situation where the error and expectation occur in the process, basically. So the customer making an order. You record an order, you do an order, you deliver an order or prepare for the delivery of order before you deliver the order. Once you prepare for delivery, there might be something goes wrong with the preparation and you cancel the order. If you have done the delivery, ready for the delivery, then you deliver the product. Once you deliver the product, at the same time you invoice it and the payment goes to the account credited and you make the deposit. So that's the process of it. So if the order canceled in this process, when you look at it, you're looking at the changing of order or the order totally canceled. This part of the whole process that you need to take it into accounting. Credit what, debit what if they canceled, what we supposed to debit and what we supposed to credit again. We're not gonna add this to that, add data objectives, take an order, record an order, prepare the deliveries and all these process. You can take a look at it. You don't need to know the details, but you understand how the flow is happening between the customers and your company. So you need to add an important document used or created during this process. So what kind of document is going to be? Invoice being issued. So order being sent. How is those orders sent? What kind of a document is get issued? Note that you should include exceptions. So things, the order is being changed. What kind of a document you need to change the order or cancel the order? Then when you start looking at this process, you can, in this time, you can mitigate the risk and you can also improve the process. And how you're going to consider the improving process is it's optional, by the way. How to use the technology might change and improve the process. So if we are using the technology, the software, how this can be implemented to our process. For example, a hard copy document are changed to an integrated database. So data integration and exchange happening, which eliminates some needs of for accounting to record transactions since they would be recorded at the source. So he's buying, he make a request. This can be done automatically instead of recording and entering this information, and that can reduce the amount and the numbers of accountants there. So what do? You repeat the investigation and modeling of this major. Once you, at the same time, you try to prepare a UML diagram from your BPMN of data structures necessary. Note that the BPM diagram, usually normally be separate on the UML, and the UML class diagram will be integrated. So the UML usually is the one where it will help the programmer to customize your application. BPMN will help the programmer or you to understand, or third party to understand your business process. So this is the UML example. We're not going to get into this details of it now. And you probably need to import it into Access application or Sage or ACPAC. Doesn't matter what's your application. Now you know the exact process, how it's done. So any application that you need to implement has to do this process very well. After you're integrated and you think it's fine in your application is doing the process, you need to prepare a query and run a query. So we assume there an order issued by the customer and we do the query for it. We assume that we ordered certain product from the supplier and we run a query and see if it's working. And if we have to integrate the customer to the suppliers, we assume a customer and we run a query also. So you need to ensure data is limited to a period of interest, summarize stored location for income statement, element before forming an overall income statement, develop a balance sheet amount, and develop other performance measure appropriate. This is all about